Shri Chaitanya Manोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं कलामयं ददाति सापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं भजना सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्तांश्च नमो शुभदाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौतसनः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपिका गोपीकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विष्णुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय च नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे संसारी नाम करना So we'll start at unit 5.
Unit 5.
सुनाई दे रहा है?
थोड़ा सा ऊपर
साउंड सिस्टम मेरे लिए इजी होगा ना?
They took it to Chaitanya. They took it to Chaitanya.
What is that?
Okay.
Maybe then devotees can come a little near.
Your throat is open.
Listen.
Okay, I will. No problem.
Somebody can just read what is on the slide.
Krishna is a great arrangement. Krishna is giving us chance, this human form of life, that I give you all the facilities, all the supplies, necessities of your life. The river will serve you, the hills will serve, the mountains will serve you, the ocean will serve you, the forest will serve you, the vegetables will serve, the animals will serve you, everyone will serve you. Now you have got human form of life. You take service from them, live peacefully and chant Hare Krishna. This is the arrangement. But these rascals, they not chant Hare Krishna. They want to predominate over these hills, mountains, rivers, animals.
The arrangement.
Okay.
You can start now.
Till then you can try to be extremely attentive. Yesterday I had 4 classes, also I attended 64 hours, so my throat is little. So now we will go to the overview of 5th unit. So we'll discuss about Krishna's disappearance and Pandava's retirement. And we'll see how it was so difficult for Yudhishthira to accept the message that Krishna had disappeared. And Arjuna was remembering whatever interactions he had with Krishna. So these things we'll learn there. After that we'll learn about Parikshit Maharaj's rule and how he chastised Kali. You'll see where the Kali is residing now. And we'll also see the activities of a true ruler. So a true ruler, he can't tolerate the violence towards others. That is meaning of Kshatriya. Kshatrayate. So one who delivers others from being harmed. So that is called a Kshatriya. So earth is representation of cow and dharma is bull. And we will also see the pastime of Parikshit Maharaj being cursed to die because of that episode of Samyak Rishi. And then we will see the symptoms of Kali Yuga. That how anger and arrogance will be welcomed in Kali Yuga. And all these things will further lead to appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we will also learn about ideal monarch, what is his aspirations, what he speaks, what he hears. Tanno Bhavan me Bhagavad Prasado Mahattam Ekantam Parananasya. So we will learn all these slokas. Okay. And then the ideal aspirations each one of us should have. Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante rati prasangasta dasreshu mahatsu yamya upyam system maitriyastu sarvatra namandajya. Three aspirations were there with Parikshit Maharaj. Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante. If I come back again, I should have bhakti for Ananta, Lord Supreme Lord, bhagavati anante. Second is rati prasangasta dasreshu. And those who have taken shelter of the Lord, those devotees, let me have attachment for them. Rati. And Maitriyastu Sarvatra. And I should have friendship with all the living entities. So these three aspirations are the aspirations of Parikshit Maharaj. And down the line, many devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam, they all have these three aspirations. So in 10th canto also, I was doing Bhakti Vedanta. So there are also many devotees, they had similar aspirations. They wanted a similar thing to happen with them.
Which verse is this?
So this will come in you are going to read it now. This is an aspiration of Parikshit Maharaj. So he prays to Sukadeva Goswami that if I am born again, let me have all these three things. Just pass for these three things. So now what we'll do? We'll first move to the verses directly. So give me a minute. Chapter number 9, na?
14.
Chapter 14. So just take 2 minutes. Duplicated. What is happening? It's only slides. It's not duplicating. showing in my screen, it's not duplicating there. पता नहीं क्यों?
Lock the screen.
Now it is showing there. So the breakup of your chapter number 14. So text number 1 to 10 discuss about how Yudhishthir was suspecting Krishna's disappearance. That maybe Krishna had disappeared, that is why Arjuna is taking so much time to come back from Dwarka. And he was also seeing bad omens. So there is a whole science of omens which we will see in this chapter. And then whatever Yudhishthir Maharaj was suspecting, it was supplemented by first is indirect inquiries. So basically Yudhishthir Maharaj didn't want to accept that Krishna had disappeared. So somehow or the other he was trying to indirectly ask different questions. Maybe this is the reason, maybe that is the reason, this is the reason. So he was asking about Yadu's welfare. Then he had direct inquiries also. And he was glorifying Krishna, his influences. And then he starts asking about Arjuna's personal welfare. So he didn't ask directly, but indirectly he was asking a lot of questions from Arjuna to see whether whatever he was suspecting was right or wrong. And that is the nature of love and devotion of a devotee, that he just can't accept that Krishna disappeared. So we will find in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, we don't find Mahaprabhu's disappearance being mentioned there. It just ends in Sasashtakam. Same thing with Chaitanya Bhagavata also. So, because for devotees to accept the disappearance of the Lord is very, very difficult to bear. So you have done first 10 verses or no?
No.
Okay, fine. So we'll start with verse number 1. I didn't bring my Bhagavatam with me. So just with this. So what I'll do, I'll recite the Sanskrit verse and all of you can read the translations. So for everything you don't need purpose. You can skip the purpose.
Advanced.
Srutavacha sampatistite dvarkayam Jishno bandhu didikshaya Gyatum cha punyaslokasya krishnascha vicheshtitam. Please read translation.
Sri Sudha Goswami says, Arjuna went to the Dwaraka to see the Lord Sri Krishna and other friends, and also to learn from the Lord of his next activities.
So he basically wanted to know about what Lord is going to do next. But then, what had happened? Vatita katichin masas tadanaya tado arjuna tadarsa ghora rupani nimittani kurutva. Please read.
A few months passed. Arjuna did not return. Maharaj Yudhishthira then began to observe some inauspicious omens, which were fearful in themselves.
Yeah. So Arjuna had not returned from since long time, many months had passed. And also there were inauspicious omens. So that's called nimittani. Nimittani. So nimittani is certainly, nimitta means the instrument or the cause. But nimitta also practically means omens. So he was observing certain fearful omens.
This is, the first text says Arjuna went to Dwarka, right, to see Lord Krishna. But this says a few months passed and Arjuna did not return. So does that mean that he went to Dwarka but he didn't return again to where?
To Hastinapur.
Ah, So he's saying that after a few months he still didn't return to Hasta?
No.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Did Arjuna go along with Krishna? Is
No,
there
no,
a
no.
mention when he went?
No, no.
Suddenly this thing is coming.
No, it's not suddenly. Actually, one thing is Bhagavatam is not chronological. Even Krishna's pastime 10th canto, they are not chronological. Like first there was name giving ceremony of Krishna, then there was Trinavat pastime. But if you see in the Krishna book or Bhagavatam, first Trinavat pastime is given, then name giving ceremony is there. So it's not chronological. So Krishna went, and then after a long time, then Arjuna went.
That's mentioned here somewhere in the previous.
That's what I'm saying. It's not chronological.
Okay.
It's not chronological, and even the time is because this is a summary study of Krishna's pastimes. So Bhagavatam is not like Krishna's pastimes spoken in detail. It is just a summary. We were just hearing from Krishna Chaitanya Maharaj was giving an example of a bullock cart. Like if earth was a person, and there was a huge bullock cart filled with so many things, so many materials, and it passes by. How much can earth feel about that bullock cart? Only the tip of the wheels, right? Similarly, what Bhagavatam speaks or what we can learn about Krishna's pastime is very little bit as compared to the huge cart of Krishna's pastimes.
Does that depend on how much Krishna wants to reveal to us?
Yeah, and at the same time we understand one thing is that Krishna's pastimes are unlimited. Lord Ananta with his unlimited hoods since time immemorial is trying to narrate Krishna's pastimes and he is not yet done. Krishna's pastimes are unlimited. Top of that, even the viewers, they view the world in a different way. They view Krishna's pastimes in a different way. For example, when Ras Leela was going on, each gopi was not observing that Krishna has expanded into so many forms.
Each gopi wasn't aware that Krishna would be able to reciprocate with another gopi, so they just felt that only they had the relationship with Krishna, isn't it?
Even in the Rasa Leela, Krishna had expanded in so many forms.
But each gopi thought that only they had a relationship, isn't it?
No, not just relationship. See, if they had a sidelong glance somewhere else, they could have seen Krishna is not just here, he's also there, he's also there, he's also there, he's also there.
But they weren't able to see that, were they?
No.
Yeah.
So if you ask gopis, they would say, Krishna was dancing only with me.
Yeah. But was that?
But the demigods were there, they were seeing the whole view. That Krishna,
They could see everything.
they could see everything.
Which demigods were there?
There were many demigods along with their wives.
But how come the demigods were allowed to see but not the gopis?
No, they were allowed to see, but they couldn't relish it. So seeing is not a seeing, it's devotion.
So they could see that Krishna was there with somebody else, but they couldn't understand it. Is that what you mean?
See, gopis could see only Krishna with them,
Oh, right.
not with others.
Right.
Whereas demigods could see so many Krishnas with so many gopis.
But they couldn't understand it. is
They
that
couldn't
what-
understand that.
Because they didn't have the devotional understanding.
Yes.
Ah.
So the point I am speaking is, the lesson which I am deriving from there is that versions of same Ras Leela, if written by different gopis and the demigod sitting on the plane, would be totally different. Same Bhagavatam would be different from different viewpoint.
But did Krishna do that so that the gopis would relish their experience even more?
Yeah.
With him?
Certainly. Okay, so now inauspicious moments. कालस्य च गतिं रौद्रां विपर्यस्त्रस्तु धर्मिणः पाप्यसीम नृणां वार्तां क्रोधलोभान्वितात्मनां. Please read translation.
You saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regulatories. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful. And he saw that they were adopting foul means of livelihood.
Yeah. So these three things are mentioned here. So directions of eternal time had changed. That means things were not happening regularly. Irregularities in seasons. That means what is supposed to follow one after another, sequences were not getting followed. And one of the example is irregularity in seasons. Like we find nowadays also.
All countries outside India.
Yeah, no, even in India also actually. Now, like what is happening since last 2 years is beginning of any season is too extreme.
Rainy season goes like now.
Earlier we would see it would begin from little bit and then it would increase. Now it begins with like rains, even winters also. Initially it's very cold and then it would calm down quickly. So seasons, there are irregularity in seasons. And also people become greedy, excessively greedy, deceitful, they adopt foul means of livelihood. Because generally for living you don't have to struggle so much. One doesn't have to struggle so much. But then it is because of effect of Kali that people are convinced that unless until they work hard like donkeys, they can't live. So that's like an unfortunate situation of Kali Yuga. Of course, this is one of the characteristics of human beings given in third canto. Who are human beings? Those who think that unless until we work very, very hard, we can't maintain ourselves. That is called a human being. Elephants eat so much, they don't worry about their livelihood, they don't go for any jobs, they don't study so much, they don't work very hard. Still they are maintained. But human beings are convinced that unless until we work very hard, we can't even get 2 meals a day. So that is a human being. So thus people adopt even 5 false means of livelihood. जिम प्रायम व्यवहृतम साठ मिश्रम च सौहृदम पितृमात्र सुहृद भ्रात्र दंपत्तिना च कल्पनम.
All ordinary transactions and dealings became polluted with cheating, even between friends. And in familiar affairs, there was always misunderstanding between fathers, mothers, and sons, between well-wishers and between brothers. Even between husband and wife, there was always strain and quarrel.
Yeah. So this is a symptom of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means quarrel and hypocrisy. If there are too many people, then there is a quarrel.
This symptom already, when Yudhishthira Maharaja time already earlier, I felt it's already there.
Yes. So that began at that time, because currently the time is called Sandhya Kal. So as we see that slowly during the dusk of the dawn, it's like that transition. Slowly the light becomes more and more brighter and brighter and brighter. But it reduces more and more and more and more slowly.
Like
Similarly.
like pen, slow.
So similarly, now also the symptoms are like increasing as the Kali Yuga is passing. Kali is increasing.
Oh.
So that time quarrels just began, because in the past ages people were pretty tolerant. At the same time, we find that husband-wife quarrels were never ever taken so seriously. Prabhupada would call them as like fights between the goats. Goats. Chagos. Goats, when they fight with each other, it looks as if they are going to kill each other. They're really. But after 5 minutes of the fight, they stand together and eat grass peacefully. So that's why Chanak Pandit says that whenever there is thunder and lightning, don't take it very seriously, it will go away very quickly. Similarly, there is a fight between the husband and wife, don't take it very quickly. Sorry, very seriously. But that was 3,000 years back. Nowadays quarrels become so much that people divorce.
That will end up in divorce.
Yeah. So they take it very seriously. Earlier it was never such a serious thing. So it's a symptom of Kali Yuga. Earlier ages we find Ram and Lakshman having fight that no, we will not take the throne. Ram and Bharat. Bharat said you take the throne, Ram said you take the throne. Nowadays for a small piece of land, brothers kill each other. Right? Similarly you find same thing with Priyavrat Maharaj. Priyavrat Maharaj was saying, I don't want kingdom. Let me stay here, do tapasya. Manu had to come, Brahma had to come. Convince him at least take the throne. And not just king, emperor of the world. So it's like Kali Yuga things are pretty different. निमित्तानि अतरिष्टानि काले त्वि अनुगते नृणां लोभादि अधर्म प्रकृतिं दृष्टो वाचानुजं नृपः. Please read translation.
In the course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaja Yudhishthira observed all these elements, spoke to his younger brother.
So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was seeing all these omens. So nimittani ati arishtani, bad omens he saw. So that is how these omens, now we will see much more omens as that time passes. That by seeing the omens one can observe or predict what is going to happen. Nowadays many times people don't believe in them, but they actually do work. Yudhishthira vacha sampresito dvarakayam jishnor bandhu didrikshaya gyatum cha punyaslokasya krishnasya cha vicheshtitam. Please read.
Maharaja Yudhishthira said to his younger brother Bhismasena, I sent Arjuna to Dwaraka to meet his friend and to learn from the personality of body, Krishna, of his program of work.
So I sent him to learn something from Krishna, but then he has not returned till now. So Saptadana, Gata Saptaduna Masa Bhimasena Tavanujaha Nayadi Kasyava Heto Naham Vededam Anjasa. Please read.
Since he departed, 7 months have passed, yet he has not returned. I do not know actually how things are going there.
Yeah, so 7 months have passed. We told him to know the whereabouts of Krishna, and he has not returned till now. People had a lot of patience in early days, right? Now if you see that 7 months have passed, this fellow has not come. If a brahmachari doesn't come back for 7 months, he may be removed from brahmacharya asana. Right? So 7 months is like a big period. And there 7 months means, like we'll find earlier marriages would mean that people would go and stay in the houses for 1 month. Some of you have seen that. Because just the functions of marriage, even my brother's marriage a few years back, functions are almost for 15 days. But generally relatives stay for 2-3 days only, not many relatives.